You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Wednesday, April 14th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, LeVar Burton weighs in on why he'd make a great Jeopardy host. William Shatner is now a member of the WWE Hall of Fame, and I've got a little bit of Star Trek history. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is supported by people like you through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/Daily Star Trek News. Right, first up, last week we told you that the Make LeVar Burton the Next Host of Jeopardy petition at change.org had reached nearly 200,000 signatures. Well, the petition has blown past that milestone, and it looks like Burton is now actively campaigning for the job. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, Burton said that he had put quite a bit of thought into the idea of following the late Alex Trebek as host of the long-running game show, and he wasn't short on confidence. "I've asked friends and family to help me identify someone out there who's more qualified for the job than I am," he said. "I don't believe there is anyone out there who's better suited for this job than me. I think my whole career is an advertisement for being the host of Jeopardy." A lifelong fan of the show, Burton has been regularly watching Jeopardy for more than 50 years, when the show was hosted by the late Art Fleming. Burton appeared on Celebrity Jeopardy in 1995, besting the competition to earn $14,500 for his chosen charity, the Somalia Foundation. On that particular memory, Burton said, "Having the correct answer for Final Jeopardy is now crossed off my bucket list." In addition to his love for Jeopardy, Burton believes in the power of education, a value he says his mother instilled in him from a young age. "If you are ever going to fulfill your potential," he said, "then learning needs to be your friend." The support from fans has gained Burton's attention too, so much that the actor and activist told EW, "It feels like they're really behind me. They want this for me as much as I want it for me, I believe, because it makes so much sense to them too." To add your name to the petition in support of the Make LeVar Burton the Next Host of Jeopardy campaign, visit change.org. Next up. So, William Shatner is now a member of the WWE Hall of Fame. USA Today first reported last week that the Star Trek actor would be part of the WWE's Hall of Fame ceremony taking place on April 6th, a ceremony that included inductees from both 2020 and 2021 cohorts because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The event was streamed on NBC Universal's Peacock service, and it kicked off a WrestleMania week that concluded last weekend in Tampa, Florida. Shatner has a long history with the WWE. He first participated in the show Wrestling Arena in 1995 as a guest of Jerry "The King" Lawler. He returned to induct Lawler into the Hall of Fame in 2007, and then he returned again as a special guest in 2010, according to Sports Illustrated. In the USA Today piece, Shatner compared WWE events to Star Trek conventions, saying it's very much the same, the approbation, the joy. That's a comparison he's made before. In 2019, he told WWE Backstage that Trekkies and wrestling fans are alike, saying they're all equally nuts, as in crazy with passion. In his acceptance speech, Shatner credited his Canadian roots as partly responsible for his relationship with wrestling. "I was born in Montreal," he said, "and out of Montreal came many of the great wrestlers. I've been a great fan of WWE for a long time, so I accept this induction into the Hall of Fame with the delight of someone who is following some of his greatest heroes." Previous celebrity WWE Hall of Fame inductees include Mr. T, Snoop Dogg, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can watch clips from last week's Hall of Fame ceremony now on WWE's YouTube channel. Now, in just a moment, I'll be taking you back in time to find out what happened this week in Star Trek history, but first, a word from me. Daily Star Trek News is growing, which means that we need more people. I'm currently recruiting for 2 new writers, one to write the daily news and one to write our trivia and history segments. Both roles will take a few hours of your time each week, and both come with a small monthly stipend. So if you think you've got something to contribute to the show, then please reach out. Send an email to info@dailystartreknews.com and I'll send you more information. Once again, that's info@dailystartreknews.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. And now, a look back into Star Trek history. It was today, April 14th, back in 1936, that Star Trek guest actor Arlene Martell was born. Star Trek fans will know Martell for her performance as T'Pring, Spock's bride-to-be, in the Star Trek Season 2 episode Amok Time. She had previously been up for the roles of both Dr. Elizabeth Daner from Where No Man Has Gone Before, and the role of the mischievous female alien from Cat's Paw, before finally getting the role of T'Pring. Outside of Star Trek, Martell acted steadily from the 1950s up until her death of a heart attack in 2014. She often played roles with varying nationalities and ethnicities, including guest spots on The Untouchables, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Monkees, The Outer Limits, Battlestar Galactica, and more. Please join me in remembering Arlene Martell on what would have been her 85th birthday. And tune in again next week for more Star Trek history. Well, that's it for today's Daily Star Trek News from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek News is produced by me, Alison Pitt, with selected stories by Chris Peterson. We're supported by people like you through Patreon. Find out how you can add your support at patreon.com/Daily Star Trek News. And finally, please make sure that you're signed up for the Daily Star Trek newsletter at dailystartreknews.com/contact. Get all the day's Star Trek news delivered straight to your inbox every weekday morning. I'm back tomorrow with more of the Star Trek news you need to know and the weekend's Star Trek events. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
I think I'm cute.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.